I know you're an Apple Watch wearer. Is it on right? Do you have it on right now?
I do.
Yeah.
Tracking me as we speak, along with my Oura ring.
Pat is constantly monitoring himself, keeping himself in a spiral of doom. He is certain of his own mortality, and he wants to make sure that he's got data to prove it every single minute of the day. I'm kidding, Pat.
Dude, are you kidding me? I need to know when to inject the unicorn blood into my
I
system
know.
every few hours. So
I know. I prefer to be surprised. You prefer to be in the know. But either way, what happened?
yeah, so a couple things going on here. So you have Apple that has good innovation, but they're bullies to their suppliers, and they on occasion steal other people's intellectual property. It's been proven in court many, many times. This is not just opinion, it's just a fact. And what they did is they stole intellectual property and hired the CTO and some more people from a couple called Massimo when they were in negotiations for a licensing deal, an acquisition, or even them buying sensors. And then suddenly Apple shows up with an Apple Watch with oxygen sensor capabilities on it after hiring Massimo's people. Massimo takes them to court. It's a multi-year battle, and they end up not only winning at the ITC, but also they won on appeals at the ITC, and ITC issued a ban on importation from Apple Watches that are made in China, and also I think a few of them are made in India into the US. And then Apple, by the way, the official word has not come out yet. I just want to be very clear on that. But by Apple's actions, which they're going to stop selling it on the 21st online and then removing inventory on the 25th, I think is a pretty good indication on where this is headed. Now, ITC ruling against Apples have not always stuck, right? We saw Obama overturned one. There was a judgment that the ITC said that Apple was ripping off Qualcomm's patents. I think at the ITC it was 1 out of 6. Qualcomm asked for an injunction, and our wonderful administration said no. Us moving forward and selling iPhones is more important than your intellectual property, and the ban never happened. By the way, it did result in Apple and Qualcomm coming together. So I think this is a really big deal. And, you know, what I've been telling a lot of the reporters that I've been doing interviews with is I can't tell you when or how, but I can tell you who has the power in here and where the motivations might be. And that is, this is much more important to Apple to get this resolved quickly than it is to Massimo, who has been spending probably $20 million on lawsuits trying to win against Apple. And I don't think that Massimo is going to be quick to negotiate some licensing deal either. Versus Apple, where I think you're driving $17 billion in Apple Watch sales annually, and most of them are sold in the United States. So Apple needs to fix this. They don't have the power here. They have so much more to lose than they have to gain. I've seen some people say, oh, it's just the SE, right? But here's the deal. Apple got all these people interested in sensing oxygen, and primarily around the are you sick, do you have sleeping problems type of thing. And they made the bet, and now they're sleeping in it. Two potentials here, right? There's also a thought that Apple can issue a software fix, but guess what? The lawsuit and the judgment against Apple wasn't just about software, it was also about the hardware. They could disconnect the oxygen sensor, which is a potential, but in my estimation, they likely need to send these watches and have them reworked, have the oxygen sensor removed, and potentially come up with a new model of watch that's, you know, the same Ultra 2, and the other ones with SPOX, and have those sensors removed as well. So listen, this could get fixed this week. It could get fixed sometime in 2024. It might never get fixed, which should be weird. All the applications like my Sleepwatch stuff that uses SPOX, and my gosh, I mean, all the applications that use it even on my phone, and I'm not the most in shape person, but Athletic, Sleepwatch, Withings, iBreathe, I think even the Calm app uses it. I could be wrong, but yeah, Apple needs to fix this and need to fix it quick.
Yeah, you got a lot of good detail there. So I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this, Pat. The things I'll double click on are one, there's a genuine and general misconception about Apple as always being the innovator. Apple is the implementer. And this is a good example of how Apple is great at putting together other companies' innovations and creating products that are more usable, more desirable, and better marketed. And this has been the company's history for a long, long time. And you kind of go through the history of whether it's MP3 players turning into iPods, whether it's Apple iPhones becoming, something built out of the amalgamation of BlackBerries and various different early iterations of smartphones and other phones that attempted to put computers on smaller surfaces.
Hey, how about this one? Imagination Technologies was GPU. They hired a bunch of the engineers, right? And then they made Imagination a deal they couldn't refuse, right? Unlicensing. So this is like Imagination all over again.
Yeah, and their history and pedigree is, if in these situations, if they don't get what they need or want, they certainly have been known to be a bit of a bully. I'm pretty sure Imagination never quite recovered, despite getting quite a bit of attention for what had happened. By the time they got any attention, support, and anyone really took notice, Apple had already done the deed, and it was.
Hey, remember the company Apple spun up as a supplier to put special coating on the top of Apple Watches? Like their stock went to 1,000x, and then Apple's like, no, I don't think so. I'm gonna do it myself, and then destroyed the. I mean, there's so many examples. They tried to pull the same BS with Qualcomm, right? Steal their IP, not pay them for 2 years. Anyways, I'm sorry, you were talking.
It's fortunate. No, it's just fortunate. That it seems that there is a economy of scale by which they can't get away with it. But these smaller companies that are in the hundreds of millions, even which by the way is a large company by most consensus, but Apple can literally suffocate them, and that's what has happened in the past. Having said that, there's a lot of people out there that love this technology, want these devices, and this is the most popular watch on the planet. Just so you're clear, Apple is the world's number one watchmaker by revenue and by volume, well above Rolex, in case anybody wondered. So, they need this continued innovation and technology to be able to continue to grow their market. So I do feel they will get it rectified. And it probably won't be as big of a concession as they probably should have to make.